It's Brian Broaddus' Krusty's Corner, hosted by Zach Wolchuk. Buddy.
Thank you very much. Shout out to the Krusty. He is back in town. Sent a picture. He was flying back last night from Vegas. He got himself in the nice seat with no seat in front of him in that exit row. He was able to stretch out the legs. He was on the draft show this morning. And if you want to check that out, you can. It was a great episode. Now, speaking of the draft, we got a fresh new 3-round mock from Jon Machota. And the beauty of Machota's is it's just the Cowboy picks. We don't worry about anybody else in the league. Yeah. We're just sticking with America's team. Here is the Hall of Selections. Round 1, pick 24. It's the big mammoth, 6'7", 330-pound Georgia offensive tackle, Amarius Mims. I love Amarius Mims. I think he could end up being one of the best offensive tackles in this class, but he's just a very, very raw player that has not played a ton. He started, I believe 8 total games for Georgia, but when he played, my gosh, the dude was an absolute beast. But
that'd be shocking if they take an offensive tackle.
It would be surprising, but it means that basically Tyler Smith is staying at guard. He's not moving, and that is your left tackle now for the next 10 years. And we'll see what happens with Tyron, obviously. Yeah. But
Tyron wants to come back. He does team-friendly deals. He's back.
He does. It's just the health, right? So now you'd have an insurance policy where you've got a guy that has also played the right and the left side. Yeah. So you also have a dude where if Terrence Steele is not performing well, you can play him over at the right side as well. But I do think in this scenario, if there were a center like Jackson Powers-Johnson out of Oregon or Graham Barton out of Duke, I know Zach Frazier from West Virginia has been getting a lot of love. He's a little rich for me there, but still, I think I would go center over the tackle, but I would not be upset with that pick at all. Round 2, they go with Junior Colson, the linebacker from Michigan, 56 overall.
Now we're cooking.
You can't get mad because he's a Michigan player. He's not a Michigan defensive lineman. That should help you. But Junior Colson could be the best linebacker overall in this draft. I think Dane Brugler does have him as his top guy. He's certainly my number one dude so far from the guys that I've watched. And in the 3rd round, I would be so thrilled if this happened. I don't think it will because he's the best running back in the draft. But if he slides to round 3, number 87 overall, and I know John loves him because he's a Florida State guy, but it's Trey Benson, the running back from FSU, 6'1", 223 pounds. He is a do-it-all workhorse back, can also pass block for you. He's got speed. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. I think he's probably going to be maybe the first back off the board in the 2nd round. I'd be surprised if he slid here, but that would be a nice haul. You dress the offensive line, you get a linebacker, you get a running back, boom, sign me up for this.
Yeah, from what I understand about this Amarius Mims dude is, the athleticism is going to be so ridiculous at the combine, and because of how good he was as a pass protector, even though in 8 starts, so dominant enough, and he's going to blow up the combine in a way that has some people doing hot takes right now of him ending up in the top 10.
Well, he's a guy that certainly offensive line coaches are going to look at and say, I can mold you into the best tackle in all of football.
Yeah.
So he's a guy, to me, you look at the flexibility. He's played both on the left and the right side. He's so hard to get around because he's just an absolute massive human being, the long arms. there's times you look at him, he's so big. I was left wanting a little bit more. I wanted more violence and aggressiveness when I watched him play.
More nasty.
But there's you look at him and it's like the sky's the limit for this type of player.
Have you seen the high school clip of him?
That's going viral right now. Yes, it's hilarious.
It's from high school, and he is twice the size of every other offensive lineman he's next to there. That is hilarious. So I wouldn't be upset about that, even though I think we all want the impact player day one right now based on the lack of impact from last year's draft class. So I can understand the hesitancy of drafting a tackle. Like, it's not ideal, but if it's this guy, I don't think you're going to be too upset about it.
Yeah.
This Junior Colson fella, so he's a full size. He's full size.
He's a big boy.
He's 6'3", 250. Am I reading this appropriately?
Yes.
Okay. I think Zimmer's going to like that.
And he's the one that was running around with a club on his hand, just basically cleaning up, making every single tackle against Michigan. I do like Edgerrin Cooper. I know we got a big Edgerrin Cooper stan from the 817 that absolutely loves him. I like him a lot too. I just don't think he would slide there. Like, he's a dude that's probably going to go high round 2. I think he's going to be out of the Cowboy range, but I do like Edgerrin Cooper. I don't, for Aggie fans out there, him, when you watch him downhill, closing speed, dude's a freak athlete.
Hey, do men describe themselves as full-sized man?
I will.
Kind of close to, like, full-figured.
Yeah. I honestly,
it's more. I usually go with like the prototype, like prototypical size for the position.
You go. Yeah,
I like Eric's full-size man.
This dude's a full size.
Well, it's like because we haven't had the full size linebacker lately here.
I get.
We got a couple of safeties.
You got me looking at short guys differently now. Not a full-size man.
We've had fun size, and now we're looking for full size.
Yeah,
this guy might actually be king size.
He could be.
He's
king
like
size.
he's towing the
Big,
line,
man. He's a big boy. He's
Jumbo.
He's the king size candy bar. He's certainly.
Yeah, Junior Colson is the type of thing you want to see. At
jumbo
See, y'all
package.
took it too far,
Halloween.
y'all took it too far.
We always do though. We have a problem with this, Lucius. You know that. You know that.
Talk about that man's candy bar all of a sudden.
Oh man, I shouldn't have brought the candy bar up.
He's a thumper, man.
All right, he is a thumper.
Real
dude.
hole plugger.
He really is. Now I don't know about the whole plug.
Liar.
Ranking
You watched the tape?
every 2024 NFL coaching staff. It's not a surprise that the Cowboys are not super high on this, as they're put in this range of make or break season, according to CBS Sports, right? And I think that that's exactly where they are. Like 2024 is a defining season for them. They're there right with the Buffalo Bills. Sean McDermott, Joe Brady, Bobby Babich, their defensive coordinator as well. Like the Bills are in a situation where Sean McDermott, hey, can you get us over the hump? You're a really good coach. But if we continue to fail, and look, I guess now we're looking at it where it's Patrick Mahomes. I think you're one of a lot of coaches that are going to continue to fail to the brain trust of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. But at some point, when do we move on and try and get another guy? They've had 5 straight double-digit win seasons. Cowboys are in a similar situation with Mike McCarthy. They're 1-3 in the postseason, but he's 42-25 in his career as a head coach, and you've had 3 straight 12-win seasons. He's built a winner consistently. Yeah, Brian Schottenheimer is your OC. You bring in Mike Zimmer, we'll see what Zim can do. But these are all seasons where you're looking like, okay, they're in this defining make-or-break type of year, and I do think those are 2 teams where you're looking, and there's some parallels there with the Bills and the Cowboys. Just haven't been quite able to get over the hump. Now, you can look at Josh Allen and Dak and be like, well, Josh Allen's a better quarterback if you want to. Some might go with Dak Prescott, but I do think in each conference, there are ones where they've got all the talent. You think they can be a Super Bowl team, but they failed to live up to those expectations.
Yeah, that's absolutely been the case for them, and I do think that's more of the Mahomes thing. Like, they got to go through Mahomes to get there, and they've gotten to within a game of the Super Bowl. Like, they've been able to do more winning despite the fact that they have to go against Mahomes within their own conference. I do think Sean McDermott, he's a defensive guy, and their defenses are usually really good. Even this year, they were bad for a while with all the injuries, but by the time you got to the postseason, it was like, man, they have figured this thing out, and I think that's a huge credit to McDermott there. But I guess at some point it's like you got to win the Super Bowl or you lose it. I think it would be a mistake with McDermott for the Bills.
Yeah, because, I mean, where was Buffalo before he got there? I mean, they were just treading water, being an absolute stink show. So we'll see, but that's where the Cowboys are. I mean, they're behind a ton of teams with promising outlooks. Of course, you've got at the top, the cream of the crop is Kansas City. They've got Houston up there, Baltimore, Detroit, Cleveland. So we'll see what happens with Mike McCarthy and this coaching staff this year.